The wind sliced through the skeletal trees, carrying the faint sound of forgotten voices. Rain hammered down in icy needles, bouncing off the cracked sidewalks of a quiet Oregon town. Under the flicker of a dying streetlight, a man huddled in a worn army jacket, its patches faded and meaningless. His name was Tommy Haler Vetra, who once walked with pride, who once had a fire in his eyes and a purpose in his chest. Now, all he carried was a tattered duffel bag and the heavy burden of memories he could never shake. He stared at his trembling hands, raw and red from the cold, stomach aching from 2 days without food. It felt like the world had completely forgotten him, and for the first time in years, Tommy wondered if maybe he should forget it. To Dot, then he heard Etta's soft, pitiful whimper cutting through the rain. He turned his head, squinting through the mist, and saw it, a small, mud-caked dog limping out of the alley, dragging one hind leg. Its fur was matted, one ear torn, yet its eyes, those eyes spoke of pain, trust, and something desperate. All at once, the dog stopped in front of him and collapsed, shivering. Tommy's heart clenched. Without thinking, he dropped his duffel and knelt beside the creature. Hey, it's okay, buddy, he whispered, his voice rough but gentle. You're hurt real bad, huh? A weak wag of the dog's tail was its only reply, as if saying, "Thank you for noticing me." Tommy ripped a strip from his jacket and wrapped it around the dog's bleeding paw. His fingers shook not from the cold this time, but from something warmer, something he hadn't felt in years, compassion. Carefully, he lifted the dog into his lap, feeling its fragile ribs press against him. "You're not dying tonight, soldier," he murmured, his voice low but steady, and in that rainy, forgotten street, 2 broken souls, a man and a dog, found each other. If this story is already pulling at your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Keenness. Your support helps us bring more stories of hope, compassion, and second chances to life. Tommy named the dog Scout, and just like that, they became inseparable. Over the next few days, Scout followed him everywhere, under the bridges that hid soup kitchens, through the endless grey streets, even across puddle-strewn alleys. His limp never slowed him. He walked beside Tommy with a proud little wag of his tail, like a soldier carrying a flag through a storm. People started noticing them. The man and the dog who never left each other's side. Sometimes a stranger would hand Tommy a sandwich, sometimes a few coins, but more often the world just passed them by. And yet Scout gave Tommy something priceless, a reason to wake up, to keep moving, to hold on. One evening, as the last light bled orange across the horizon, Scout tugged insistently at Tommy's sleeve. The dog barked once, then twice, then began limping toward the edge of town. "Where are you going, buddy?" Tommy asked, worry tightening his chest. But Scout didn't stop. There was urgency in those eyes, a silent pull that stirred something deep in Tommy, the same instinct that had guided him through combat zones and jungles overseas. He followed. Scout led him through overgrown bushes, down a narrow, forgotten trail behind the old lumber mill. The forest swallowed the sounds of the town, leaving only the crunch of their footsteps and the distant hoot of an owl. After nearly an hour, they emerged into a clearing. At first, Tommy saw nothing, just a mound of tangled weeds and earth. Then Scout started pawing furiously at the ground. Tommy knelt and brushed away years of leaves and dirt and froze. Beneath the moss lay a rusted metal hatch. "What in the—" he muttered, wiping grime from the corroded surface. Faded letters read, "Us 1944, Prey of Cam v. Tommy's pulse raced. He'd never heard of such a place. Scout barked once, sharp and insistent, as if urging him onward. They were going down the rabbit hole. Tommy tugged the hatch, and it creaked open after a few determined pulls. A ladder plunged into darkness. A musty, metallic scent rose, a mixture of dust, oil, and history. Tommy tucked Scout safely into his jacket, feeling the little heartbeat against his chest, and peered into the shadows below. Tommy descended slowly, each rung of the ladder creaking beneath him. His phone's flashlight cut a pale, trembling circle through the darkness, revealing an underground chamber that seemed frozen in time. Rusted metal walls loomed around him, lined with lockers, ration boxes, and faded propaganda posters that still whispered, "Courage under fire." He moved deeper, brushing away cobwebs that clung to his face, heart pounding in the suffocating silence. Then his beam caught something on the wall of photo board. Black and white faces staring back at him, soldiers grinning with arms slung over each other's shoulders. But the nameplate at the center made Tommy's blood run cold. Captain Leonard Hale, his grandfather. Tommy stumbled back, breath hitching. No way. He had never met this man, only heard stories from his father before he, too, passed. Leonard Hale had been a decorated officer who vanished on a classified mission, never found, presumed dead. And yet, here he was, immortalized in this hidden chamber beneath the forest. His hands shook as he reached for a nearby trunk. The lock, corroded with age, gave way with a sharp snap. Inside lay military journals, medals, and a sealed envelope marked in bold letters. Family. He sank to the cold floor, Scout resting his head gently on Tommy's knee, and broke the seal. If you are reading this, it means someone in our bloodline found what I could not finish. This camp was built as a safe house, not for war, but for peace. Inside these walls are documents, supplies, and plans meant to rebuild, not destroy. My men and I swore to protect it, but we never made it out. If you carry my name, carry my mission. Don't let this world forget what hope looks like. Tears blurred the words. Tommy pressed the letter to his chest, feeling the weight of years of loss and abandonment lift just slightly. His life had always felt aimless, rejected by the world, but now he understood. This wasn't just a discovery. It was destiny. Over the next few weeks, Tommy returned to the camp every day. He cleaned, restored power to a few flickering lamps, and pored over every page of his grandfather's journals. Each word, each plan, filled him with purpose he hadn't felt in years. A fire reigniting in the chest of a man who had once thought he'd been forgotten. Inside the camp, Tommy discovered detailed blueprints for a veteran's shelter plans that had never been realized because of the war. With Scout faithfully by his side, Tommy made a choice. He would finish what Captain Leonard Hale had started. He reached out to a local historian, who helped verify the site and its incredible history. Word spread fast. A hidden World War II camp, uncovered by a homeless veteran and his injured dog people, were captivated. Headlines splashed the story across the news. Donations poured in. Volunteers arrived, ready to help. The camp transformed. What had once been silent walls of war now echoed with laughter, healing, and second chances. It became Camp Resolve, a shelter for homeless veterans. Tommy took the role of director, guiding those who had lost their way. Scout, now healthy and strong, became the camp's mascot, a symbol of loyalty, survival, and hope. 1 year later, Tommy stood outside camp resolve beneath a fluttering flag. The sun broke through the clouds, painting the world in gold. He looked down at Scout, sitting proudly at his side. "Guess we did it, buddy," he said softly. "We found our purpose again." From inside, the faint sound of laughter floated through the air, the laughter of veterans rebuilding their lives, of hope reborn in forgotten souls. Tommy's gaze drifted toward the forest, where the hatch still lay hidden under moss and thyme. Somewhere, he felt his grandfather watching, proud. "Mission accomplished, sir," he whispered. Scout barked joyfully in reply, as if to echo the sentiment. The camera panned up to the sky, sunlight spilling over the camp like a blessing, leaving a simple, undeniable truth. Even in the darkest corners of the world, kindness has a way of finding the lost and leading them home. If Tommy and Scout's journey has touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Keenness. Every small act of support helps bring more real and inspiring stories to life.